Howdy, howdy, y'all. I am me, Crazy Kitsune. Good to see y'all. Hope everyone's good. Having an alright week here. I am excited to be getting back to this. It's been way too long. Excited to watch me get back to this. I need to, my VA blood needs to be ready. I haven't done this since start of the year, I think was the last time I streamed. Things got a little wacky, fucky doodle. So, did you see anything else? No, I don't think so. I see. Well, thanks for your cooperation. Oh, it's nothing. Just doing my duty as a defender of the law. That'll be all for now. I'll ask again if I have any other questions. Anytime, Detective. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a few loose ends I have to tie up. Oh, you're that new prosecutor Mr. Von Karma recommended, right? My name is Miles Edgeworth, Your Honor. And I'm Manfred Von Karma's daughter, Franziska Von Karma. I'm set to become the successor to my genius father any day now, Your Honor. Alright, enjoy your look, Crazy. I see, Mr. New Prosecutor recommended by Von Karma, Miles Edgeworth, and Miss Ah! I bit my tongue. Are you alright, Your Honor? Please feel free to refer to me as just Miss Von Karma, Your Honor. As for him, just Edgeworth is fine. Apparently, somebody doesn't feel that I'm worthy of a proper title. Howdy, howdy, welcome in, Raiders. Baron Gomi, welcome in. Appreciate you coming by. If any of you are new, my name is Walker Sunrise. I'm a Cowboy Ronin VTuber. I do variety streaming. Today, I am playing and voice acting Ace Attorney Investigations, Miles Edgeworth. From the collection, I'll be doing both games. How did Monster Hunter go? A lot of people have been playing the new Monster Hunter. A nice classic game? Yes, absolutely. I love the Edgeworth games. I was so happy this collection came out. Monster Hunter is the best it's ever been. I have seen some people playing Wilds and it looks excellent. Also, why all the characters look so damn good. Shit. But yeah, welcome in. If you need to take care of anything after you stream, if you got the munchies or you gotta clean up, I totally understand, but I appreciate you coming by. And if you'd like, stay and chat a while, or just enjoy yourself. Oh! Very well then, I shall call you Miss Von Karma and Mr. Prosecutor Edgeworth. Your Honor, Mr. Edgeworth is fine, sir. Now, about your earlier testimony. Starting right now, so you need to run. I completely understand. Thank you for the raid. Go get your noms. I know I'm always hungry after stream. I feel you. Yes, what about it, Mr. Edgeworth? I would like to ask you a few questions about what exactly you saw. Alright. After all, it's my duty to clarify my testimony as a defender of the law. I greatly appreciate your cooperation, Your Honor. Now, the first thing I'll need to do is figure out that detective's exact movements. What's going on over here? Did you find something, officer?
I think there's a $5 bill back there. Come on, just a little more.
Is there no one working this crime scene who isn't a total waste of living tissue? Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be a single person we can deem useful here. Also, check out this poster. He's making a most ridiculous looking face. That may be, but at least he doesn't look like someone who would tell a lie on purpose. I suppose, but to a Von Karma, evidence is the only thing that carries any weight. Of course. At any rate, this poster seems to be of no use to us right now. Young judges for justice! Ah! Hell, I can just imagine him taking that picture. Young judges, yeah, man's old as shit. You got a granddaughter, my guy, you ain't young. Your Honor, I'd like to ask you a few questions if you don't mind. Where were you at the time of the murder?
Do you suspect me of something?
No, nothing of the sort, Your Honor.
Very well, you may continue with your testimony.
Your Honor, it's your testimony I'm after.
No, I had no idea you were chasing after me or my testimony.
I am beginning to sense that I might want to avoid being in a trial run by this judge. Well, I got bad news for you, Edgeworth. You're gonna see a lot of this guy later. Howdy, UA. How you doing? As we already know.
Let's see here. Now then, how should I put this? When you get to be my age, you need to pay more frequent visits to the restroom. If you go take a look through the window at the end of this hall, you'll see a small window. That's the window to the men's restroom.
Why do they look across? Why are they aligned? What? Why are they aligned? I can't get over this. Even when I first played this game, I'm like, why are they aligned? That's awful. There should not be a window in the restroom at all. But even if there were, why is it aligned with another one?
In other words, you can see clearly into this hallway from the men's restroom. When I was going into the restroom, that detective, Gumshoe, is it? Well, he was standing in front of the vending machines buying something from it.
Exactly, hun. I don't know. Why are the windows aligned? Why is there a window in the restroom to begin with? There's so many things wrong here.
However, and this I couldn't believe, when I was about to exit the restroom, there was not a soul in the hallway anymore.
Your Honor, if you could please calm down and explain it to me rationally.
Oh, really sorry. Please let me regain my composure. It was really suspicious, that's what my finely honed judge's intuition said. Although, well, until the murders occurred, I just sort of brushed it off.
Apparently, this judge doesn't understand the concept of staying calm. Just got done watching Avatar: The Last Airbender and got sad. Avatar does do that. But it also has Uncle Iroh, the best character. And he says many great things. I would rewatch Avatar just for Iroh wisdom, honestly.
It is important to draw wisdom from many places.
If we take it from only one place, it becomes rigid and stale. Understanding others, the other cultures, the other nations, will help make you whole. That's probably all I'm going to find out from His Honor.
Mr. Edgeworth, may I return to my other duties now?
Yes, I'm sorry to have held you up. Thank you for your cooperation, Your Honor.
Anytime, Mr. Edgeworth, anytime.
The judges in this country seem rather friendly. Yes, if not a little wishy-washy. However, I hear they are known to hand down very fair verdicts. To be honest, you're still finding new stuff and you've seen it a lot. Fair. It would appear that this vending machine sells snacks and various other foods. Just lovely. What will they think of next? Don't be a jerk in court like these beef jerks. One packet for $9. Defendant's fresh milk, half pint for $7. What the Stay neutral as the Swiss do until the end with these for $6. They're awfully overpriced. Courtroom food always is. The lineup is simply awful. Period. Speaking of snacks, I wonder if that Swiss roll the little girl dropped is from this machine. I was wondering about that myself. The end of what? Well, I assume it means the end of the trial. I suppose this means that one should eat these during a recess? You can't eat during a trial, so I suppose the only time you can eat them is now, huh? I wouldn't mind if you wanted to eat one now. They come in packs of 2 after all. We're in the middle of an investigation. Besides, I don't have $6 on me. If you want, we can pool our money and buy a pack together. If I have to split it with you, then I don't want it. Absolute chicanery. As someone who's been on jury duty, courthouse food is indeed always overpriced. Although the last time I was there, they did open some sandwiches that weren't too expensive, like sub sandwiches. Detective Bad, I have something I wish to inquire about. I haven't heard Detective's Bad theme since I streamed last. Great. Puzzle League sound and music. Hey, how about doing some actual work, you? I wish to inquire into Detective Gumshoe's movements during the recess. You're getting in the way of the investigation. I have an order from Mr. Von Karma himself. Plus, I still hold investigative authority. So I hear you were the one who called for Detective Gumshoe to come down here. Faraday. That guy was just accused, you know? I just knew something was gonna happen. My detective's instinct told me. A lot of good it did you. You couldn't even protect one lone prosecutor with it.
Hold it!
Francisca, I think you need to apologize. I'm sorry. I'm terribly sorry, Detective Bad. Please continue. I used the phone on the first floor and called the precinct. I told them to send somebody over. And
And that detective's the one that showed up.
And only upon his arrival did you set Detective Gumshoe to stand guard Detective Bad?
Yeah. I waited for him on the first floor. After he got here, we came up to these defendant lobbies together. As we entered this hallway, we ran into you. She told us that Faraday was really mad, and that he dragged Rel off to lobby number 2 to have a word or something. And that Faraday had said to not let anyone interrupt them. So what choice did I have? All I could do was tell the big lug to stand guard outside.
At around what time did all of that take place?
Let's see. I think it was about 30 minutes before I heard the gunshot. After giving the big lug his assignment, he never left the hallway, not once.
Oh, and how can you make such a claim?
One of the guards out in this floor's main lobby swore to me he didn't.
If the detective never left the hallway, then where did he disappear off to? That's simple. He must have gone into lobby number 2, just as I suspected.
You and I, we were in lobby number 1 next door. The only one without an alibi is Gumshoe.
It seems I'm still missing some key pieces of information. Detective Bad, you also heard the gunshot, did you not?
Yeah. I heard it when I was in defendant lobby number 1. That's why I came running towards lobby number 2 together with you.
How much time elapsed between you hearing the gunshot and your arrival on the scene?
Less than a minute. I grabbed the big lug who was just walking around in the hall and raced into lobby number 2. And that's when we discovered the bodies, in that order.
That makes you the discoverer of the crime scene, then.
Yeah, yes it does, little miss.
I'm about to become a prosecutor very soon. You will treat me with the dignity I deserve, or else.
Wave that thing around anymore, and I'll have you arrested for obstruction, little miss. You wouldn't dare!
I like how his portrait just moved to dodge it. Like he didn't even have to try to get out of the way of that.
Just joking.
Detective Bad is really something if he can make Francisca behave.
Are we about done?
Is there anything else I should ask him about? Let's see, he said it was... He was in lobby number 1, we know that. I'd like for you to tell me the exact time you heard the gunshot.
It was around the end of the recess and the trial was about to start again, I think. He was supposed to make time for himself to transfer the evidence he was holding. But I got the sense he wasn't gonna show for the handoff. So I figured I should go get him or he'd be late. And just as I thought that, bang! Sound of a gunshot hit my eardrums.
So he heard the gunshot right before the trial was about to restart, huh?
done here? I don't have any time to waste.
Oh, come on. All you're doing is standing in front of this door doing nothing. I get the sense that he is somewhat investigating this crime scene. Or rather, that he's keeping us under surveillance. But to what end? Detective Bad, may I ask that you cooperate with us for just a bit longer?
I don't have anything else to say to the two of you. You guys are the ones who said you wanted to investigate in the first place.
Fine then, be obstinate. We'll just do as we please. Come on, Miles. You may no longer be willing to help us, however. May I ask for the forensic scientist's cooperation?
Do as you like.
Why? So that window on the other side belongs to the men's restroom. I can't see it. At your height, I'm not surprised.
I guess short people have feelings too.
Yeah, they do, Edgeworth. Chill. Why is there a window? There's so much wrong with this. Yeah, it's like the fuck, Edgeworth. Ayumi is a short people, and I can confirm she has very strong feeling. What's the matter?
I pricked myself on one of this cactus's needles. I didn't think the needles on this thing would be so sharp.
Well, what did you expect? Can you imagine how bad it would be if you were hit on the head by one of these? Anyway, this cactus seems to be unrelated to our case. Do you really think so? Because I believe that this cactus sitting on this windowsill is completely related. Oh? Well then, I look forward to your explanation on how exactly it's related. Because big things come in small packages. Hey, yep. I can confirm you are quite something in a small package. What is this? It's a pink-colored piece of trash made of rubber. I feel like I've seen something like this before. Well, all I see is a piece of garbage. But you know, the fact that there's a litterer running loose inside this courthouse, it's simply unforgivable.
It's not like I who littered.
Rubbish belongs in a rubbish bin!
Dirt!
The ants are hard at work carrying their food home. It's a marvel they can pick up such comparatively large objects for their size. Well, if you want to carry the mighty Von Karma name and not be squished under it, you'd better work extra hard, just like these ants. The same goes for you, Franziska. What are these black speckles? I believe it's a pile of ants eating away.
Oh, that detective's! He claims not a single ant slipped by him, and yet here's a whole hill of them! Dirt! What are you hitting me for?
As a replacement for that pathetic detective! Perhaps I should add this deduction to the detective's growing tab of pay cuts. Anyway, I wonder what the ants are eating. From the look and sweet smell of it, pieces of cake and chocolate from a Swiss roll. The courthouse is to be kept pristine at all times.
It wasn't me that dropped food on the ground!
The courthouse must be kept clean! From the sprite, it looks like a piece of it kinda does, actually. Dirt on this bench. Smells like some sort of sweet substance. I can't believe there's someone going around dirtying the courthouse. For shame! Calm down, Francisca. Now take a good look. Doesn't this smudge look like a handprint to you? I suppose it could be. Which means that perhaps we can lift the prints of the person who sullied this bench. I see. And then we'll know the identity of our mystery slob. You there, the lab technician. Could you please find out who this handprint belongs to? Sir, yes sir. Do we know who they belong to? Sir, the fingerprints belong to Detective Gumshoe. Oh, interesting. Good work, officer. And there you have it. Yes, I suppose so. Now we know the identity of the person who dirtied the bench. I sense that you and I will be using this information in very different ways. Anyway. This pink rubbery substance. I saw this in a different form earlier today. I believe this is a piece of a popped balloon. I suppose that's possible. The balloon probably got a little close to our friend the windowsill cactus. That would be the logical conclusion, yes. These bits of chocolate and cake. Could they not have come from a Swiss roll? A Swiss roll? Why would a courthouse sell a thing like that? It may not seem like the right venue, however, it is being sold right over there. $2 for $6? Talk about expensive. Leaving the fact that it's on the expensive side aside, the fact that the cake crumbs and chocolate bits were found in this hallway suggests that they came from a Swiss roll that was purchased from this machine. I think I have a pretty clear picture of what happened here now. Naturally. After all, I'm here, aren't I? Detective Gumshoe must have sat on this bench as he ate a Swiss roll. And as he ate, he dropped it on the floor and sullied the bench. How could he have not cleaned up after himself? How utterly despicable! Don't you dare whip me again! It wasn't I who made this mess in the first place! Anyway, if it was indeed Detective Gumshoe who bought the Swiss roll, then that creates a rather interesting contradicting of facts. Indeed. After all, it has been a while ago, but if we recall... literally had no money on him until he cashed this. About Detective Gumshoe's finances, he said that until this morning, he didn't have even a single penny on his personage. How poor is that guy? If his bonus really was only $5, then he should not have been able to purchase a pack of Swiss rolls. However, facts being as they are, we found cake crumbs on the floor. Meaning Scruffy must have bought a pack somehow. Indeed. That detective should not have been able to purchase a pack, and yes, he did. The question is, how? I believe I now have a very firm grasp on what happened here.
Well, I do too.
Alright, Francisco, would you care to share what conclusions you've come to?
Why should I do that? We're still in the middle of a competition, you know. We should be checking to see if your conclusions are wrong first, so you go ahead.
It's almost cute that she's going this far to ensure that she wins. Almost. When you can't even afford a Swiss roll. I mean, we already talked about how courthouse food is overpriced, including these things. I could probably get Swiss rolls for $1 at the Walmart. Very well. But first, we need to pay His Honor a visit to correct his testimony. Your Honor, if I may, I'd like to test your witness testimony to see how it stands up.
Do you doubt me? Am I your new suspect?
In a sense, I suppose you could say that.
Even you, a judge, are nothing but a common witness before a Von Karma. Silence in the courtroom! Silence, I say! Mr. New Prosecutor Man recommended by Manfred Von Karma, Miles Edgeworth, and Miss Genius for...
You bit your tongue again, didn't you? You get a pack of 12 of them for $4. See, there you go. That's $3 for... That's a buck per 3 of them. And that's Canadian, yeah. So even less in USD, bro. And here we got a pack of 2 for $6. Highway robbery, $3 for a Swiss roll. $8 for that puny ass ham sandwich they had pictured on there. You never heard of a $5 footlong? Okay. Although you can't get those anymore. Can help.
You can even place me under oath if you want.
Very well then, your testimony if you please. Sir Joseph Joestar's quote here. $20 or something stupid here for the combo. Yeah, it's a while. Old Joseph, to be exact. Yeah.
Oh my god! Holy shit! During the recess, I went to the restroom. There's a window on the hallway side. Why? Why? Why would you do this?
And Alex said because it's the one thing you can't replace. other words, I could see into the hallway. Saw Gumshoe at the vending machines, probably getting the Swiss roll. When I was about to exit the restroom, he had completely disappeared. A detective that goes missing while on duty. Sounds mighty suspicious to me. Your Honor, could you please try to remain calm? No! I'm so used to simply listening to testimonies that I got caught up in the excitement. I'm sorry, Your Honor, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to spoil your fun now. I did! The restroom window looks over the courtyard and right into the hallway. But just as I was about to exit, I took another look and there was no one in sight. So he looked into the hallway from the restroom and over the courtyard, did he? If he sat down on the bench, you wouldn't have been able to see him. What was that finger wag for, Mr. Edgeworth? And don't you know it's rude to shout objection? If you truly are a man of the law, then you must always be vigilant. For example, I never let an opportunity to shout objection pass me by. Miles Edgeworth, it's one thing to be passionate about your job, but this is real life. This is what some people may say is the pot calling the kettle black. Your Honor, I wonder if you might take a look at this for me. What is that filth? How dare someone dirty the hallway bench like that? Who is the culprit? That party is hereby found guilty of uncleanliness. If you must know, the uncouth bench sullier has already been placed under arrest thanks to your earlier testimony, Your Honor. Oh, well that's good. But who was it? We were able to discover something from the smudge on the bench, namely Detective Gumshoe's fingerprints. Not happy with committing just murder, he had to go and dirty the courthouse too. Guilty! Me more guilty. No, 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 don't. Your Honor, please calm down. Well, it's true that the detective is the one who made the mess on the bench. We have not yet established that this action is related to the murder. They're so stuck on the fact that Gumshoe's a slob. Everyone's so hung up on how dirty he made the bench dirty. It's so funny. I believe that the detective bought a pack of Swiss rolls from the vending machine, and then promptly sat down on the bench to eat one. The cake crumbs and pieces of chocolate on the floor under the bench, and Detective Gumshoe's fingerprints prove my conclusions to be true. But I still don't understand. Is this whole thing related to how I couldn't see him as I was leaving the restroom? It is indeed. The window in the hallway was built rather high up into the wall. at around a grown adult's chest height. As evidence, I submit that Francisca herself was unable to see out of that window.
I knew I shouldn't have used her height as evidence.
But basically, what this means is that the area directly under the hallway window is a blind spot when the hallway is being viewed from the men's restroom.
But then...
It seems that you have made the connection. If someone were to sit on the bench under the window... Yes, even someone as large as Detective Gumshoe would effectively disappear from sight.
What?
You finally see, Your Honor. Your testimony has just proven that Detective Gumshoe was in the hallway the entire time.
Sorry. I didn't mean to say it with that much enthusiasm. All I wanted to do was try saying it once. Hold it! Hold it!
Is there something of value you'd like to say?
Yes, actually, there is. I remembered something else just now. Mr. Edgeworth, please allow me to testify to the court one more time.
Even if we overruled him, he'd just keep on talking, wouldn't he? That might not be a bad thing. The more info, the better in a perfect investigation, right?
I suppose it's possible you can't see a seated person from the restroom window. However, that doesn't mean the detective was sitting there when I looked. Anyway, I forgot to testify earlier about probably the most important detail. As I was leaving the restroom, I heard the loud bang of a gunshot. That is the testimony of one who judges the crimes of others. Your Honor, could you try to state the important facts first next time?
I agree. Before you go around judging others, you should learn to judge your own words.
I'm sorry, but honestly, I thought that sound was just a noise popper until now.
Now that he mentions it, right before we restarted the trial, he did talk about that.
Oh, by the way, was there someone celebrating a birthday during the recess? I could have sworn I heard a popper going off. Come to think of it, the other day with my grandson.
The most critical point in this argument is when did the judge look into the hallway? And whether that lines up with when the gun was actually fired. Your Honor, if I may, I'd like to clarify a few details in your testimony.
You mad?
Hold it!
As we established, you went to the restroom during the recess. However, at what point in the recess did you look into the hallway?
After I called for a recess, I handled the change of prosecutor paperwork. Maybe about 20
Are you sure
minutes
about that?
until we reconvened. Yes, that sounds about right.
Just as I expected. Interesting, because Bad said he heard the gunshot just as they were about to reconvene. Your Honor...
What?
Your Honor, I'm really sorry, but I cannot allow you to not allow me to make an objection.
Egads, I've been overruled!
Your Honor, there are simply too many holes in your testimony for my taste. You claim that you heard the gunshot during the recess, but that is simply not possible.
Mr. New Prosecutor recommended my man...
Instead of biting your tongue, why don't you bite your tongue on those preposterous names? I see you have no mercy for the elderly either, Francisca. Don't talk back to me unless you want to be whipped in the back. With your height, you'd need a stepladder or 4 to accomplish that.
My ears are not that far gone yet, I'll have you know. I can still hear just fine. And I heard the sound of a gunshot loud and clear with my own 2 ears.
Your Honor, I have here an interesting bit of testimony. It's from Detective Bad. And according to him, he heard the gunshot right before the trial was about to start again.
What did you just say?
Your Honor, you just said that you heard the gunshot about 20 minutes before we were to reconvene. How do you explain this glaring contradiction?
Bang!
The sound of the gunshot. We keep returning to this point of contention. And that piece of evidence, I always did wonder why I found it where I did. Or never how I understand what the gunshot the judge really heard was. Unfortunately, Your Honor, this is what really produced the gunshot you heard.
Take that!
Howdy, Saint Dreamer, and yes, young Miles is hot. I agree. I found this object in the hallway earlier.
What is that pink substance?
It may not look it, but this is actually a piece of a balloon.
I see.
Your Honor, I present this piece of evidence in order to overrule your testimony. Your Honor, your argument goes as follows. You saw no one in the hallway when you heard the gunshot. Now, there is no guarantee that the detective was sitting on the bench at that time. Therefore, you believe he must have been in the crime scene, defendant lobby number 2. Am I correct?
Yes, that's exactly right.
Let me ask you something. Do you think that the gunshot you heard was produced by a real gun? I think I've said enough that even you can figure the rest out on your own. Your Honor, you were fooled by the popping of this balloon into thinking it was a gunshot.
What manner of trickery is this?
That was a good effort you put forth, Miles Edgeworth. But if it was me, I'd have wrapped this thing up before the judge even testified. Care to elaborate on how one ends something before it even begins?
Well, to be honest, I did think that the sound was a bit off from a real gunshot sound. But who could have guessed that someone would pop a balloon in a place like this?
That's true. One usually doesn't think balloons in conjunction with courthouse.
That's it! That balloon the girl was holding. It explains everything.
Your Honor, if it makes you feel any better, you didn't lie once in your testimony. However, I can't really vouch for its accuracy.
Who knew that giving testimony could be such a difficult thing to do? What have I done? I owe Detective Gumshoe a very big apology.
Little cutie Francisca with her riding crop before she graduated to a dominatrix with a whip. Yeah, the freaking riding crop because she's like 12 in this case and too short to be using a whip. She really was. Wait. There's still a few things I've yet to resolve about what happened in the hallway. Your Honor, I request your permission to further question Detective Gumshoe. Whether we did just now or not, I still cannot say. The only thing I can do for now is to continue in my quest for the perfect explanation. And to that end, I must resolve the remaining issues pertaining to the events that occurred in the hallway.
Very well. Bailiff, please bring Detective Gumshoe into the courtroom.
I must fulfill my mission and find the perfect explanation to this case. Bailiff, whack his pee-pee! Jarvis, remove his balls!
What is it now? Is it time for my trial already? I already told you a gazillion times, pal, I didn't do it!
I'll be the judge of that, Detective Gumshoe. No, you won't. I'll be the judge of that.
No, I'm the judge around here, and I'll be the judge of that! Why can't you guys be a little less judgmental?
Yes, well, speaking of hasty judgments, Detective Gumshoe, I'm afraid I must apologize for an error in judgment on my part. Your Honor, I don't believe you should apologize just yet. We've yet to prove he's completely innocent of this crime.
I guess so. What are you guys talking about?
In any case, I would like you to testify as to your actions while you were on guard duty. And please remember, you are not on trial. This is all just a part of the investigation. As such, you may still be found to be innocent. However, if you should give false testimony... Down! My whip will object loud and clear. If you are found to be lying, you will be held indefinitely, understood?
I gotcha, pal.
Thinking back on the state of the crime scene in the judge's testimony, it's obvious that Detective Gumshoe is lying. And if I can't break his lie, we may never get a break in this case.
Came down into this courthouse on Detective Bad's orders. As soon as I got here, he ordered me to stand guard in front of lobby number 2. From that time on until I heard the gunshot, I was in that hallway the whole time. On my honor as a detective, I swear it wasn't me, pal.
He's still singing the same tired tune. In that case, I'll just have to change the melody. I know he's lying, and it's time I pulled the information I need out of him. Yeah, you want to be held indefinitely, hon?
Hold it!
Obviously. You claim to have been in that hallway the whole time. However, is it not a fact that you did something while you were in that hallway?
Of course I did something. I guarded the door to lobby number 2, pal. What else? But it simply was my job to stand in front of the door without moving an inch.
Oh? Detective Gumshoe, you mean to tell me that you didn't take a single step away from the door to lobby number 2?
Got it, pal. I didn't take a single step away from that door, just like I was ordered not to. Why is everyone so quiet all of a sudden?
Because we're all in shock and in awe of your utter stupidity.
Scruffy, if you're going to lie, at least tell us a more believable one! Ow! But I'm not lying.
I should hurry up and bring this insipid testimony to a close. You went and bought a Swiss roll and sat on the bench. I have an objection.
What is it, pal?
Detective Gumshoe, I wonder if you might recognize this from somewhere. Hey, it's one of those things. The court has special Swiss rules, right, pal? Precisely. In that case, I suppose that you also recall the sullied hallway bench. Hey, you know what? I think it was probably me that did that. Detective Gumshoe, you know you can't go around dirtying up the courthouse like this. Ad break. You inconsiderate slovenly pig! I promise to clean it up later, I swear. Now then, shall we get down to business? About the fact that you didn't move even a single step from in front of that door. If that really were the case, then how were you able to buy a pack of Swiss rolls? Furthermore, if you didn't move a single step from in front of that door, how did you manage to get the bench dirty with your grubby hands? It appears that Franziska's whip can do more damage than my words alone can. Alright, I confess, pal. I was hungry, so I bought a pack for myself, okay? I thought I'd get chewed out again if anyone found out about me eating on the job, so I didn't want to say anything. Well, unfortunately for you, I saw you do the whole dastardly deed. Okay, I'm sorry for lying. But that's all I'm sorry for, you got that? Because I'm not holding anything else back. That last statement. It may sound like it makes sense. However, there's something I don't quite believe about it. Are you sure you're not withholding further information from us? Of course not! I got nothing else to hide, pal! Oh, if only that were true, Detective Gumshoe. Detective Gumshoe, I'm sure you are aware of the price of a pack of Swiss rolls, correct? Remind me again, pal? The vending machine out in the hallway is selling packs of 2 Swiss rolls for $6 a pack. And yet, according to you, you didn't have any cash on you until you cashed your $5 bonus check. Isn't that right? Let me ask then, how did you manage to purchase a pack all by yourself? Can you provide me with a proper explanation to that? I told you I bought it by myself, pal! There wasn't anyone else in that hallway with me, so there's no one who could have helped me buy it. Correct. As if you could. I mean, what are the chances of that? Wait, you do? Of course I do. Someone else had the Swiss roll on them. I think you're under the mistaken impression that I bought this pack of rolls. I would never do such a thing! All you liars are the same. You start out as thieves. You're under arrest, pal. I believe you meant to assert that all thieves start out as liars. And in that case, what does that say about you, detective? Got him. This particular Swiss roll was dropped by a certain someone. There were 2 rolls in this package. You ate one of them, but you then gave the other one to a certain other person, didn't you? No way, pal. You got it all wrong. I ate both of them. Not again! It would appear that we've caught you at last. Hey, don't you dare do anything bad to that girl! It would appear that they do know each other after all. So why do you continue to come up to me and kick me? Have I wronged you somehow? I have a name and it's K! K what? K Faraday! Faraday. Are you perhaps Mr. Faraday's daughter?
I'm not a Jew, I'm Kay!
Kay, you know, good little girls don't kick other people. Especially not hard enough to leave big nasty bruises like the way you do.
Well, then you shouldn't have put Gummy under arrest, mister!
Howdy, howdy, great Santerre. I hope it's not offensive that the name Great Santerre makes me think of the Guardian of Sand. Poseidon quivers before him! Fuck off! I am the Sand Guardian. My guess is that she's talking about Detective Gumshoe. What a cute nickname you've given him.
Gummy didn't do anything wrong!
Kay. It appears that I will need to speak with her in a bit more detail. I am the Great Santerre, also happy late birthday. My birthday's not till next month. I appreciate the effort, though. How you doing? Now then, Kay. Shh! She's like a stray cat. I wonder if I should feed her something.
Take that!
Hey, I promise to give this to you if you calm down.
Oh, a Swiss roll!
It really belongs to you, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was saving it for Daddy.
Oh my. Your father, he's...
Don't you say another word, pal! She doesn't know yet!
Thanks for watching out for me, Gummy. But I already know about Daddy.
Thought you were a month late. Yeah, no, mine's in April. My streamer anniversary is the last day of January, so there's that, but yeah. So that was about a month ago.
I overheard the guards talking about how he's not here anymore.
Maybe that's what it was, yeah. You may have been thinking of that. You may have seen that I posted about that on Blue Sky and did a stream for it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I couldn't protect him.
Okay.
I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry.
It's alright. Let it all out. Your father just passed away after all. I myself was also involved in a case at this courthouse when I was a young child. A case in which my father, who was a defense attorney, passed away. All of my dreams of becoming a lawyer were crushed into fine ash on that nightmarish day. Even now, the wound festers deep in the depths of my soul. Yeah, poor Kay. Ever since that incident, I've dedicated myself to locking away every criminal I can. And now, to have this happen right in front of me. This child. I feel a certain shared fate, a common bond between us. How you doing, Mazako? His fit is whack, Your Honor. I like Edgeworth's fit in this. You heading off, Great Sand Terror? Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you. Appreciate you coming in. And dealing with my joke about the Sand Guardian, Guardian of Sand. Poseidon quivers before him. He's a knockoff Virgil. Okay, fair.
Miles Edgeworth, what sort of gentleman are you? Are you going to just stand there and watch a lady cry?
Huh, you're right. Sorry about that. Okay, here, how about we use this handkerchief here and dry your little eyes?
Oh, my cravat! Don't blow your nose on that!
I feel better now. Thanks.
Thanks for the hydrate, Masako. Get that hydrate. Okay, are you going to be alright?
Yep, I'm already alright.
Somehow, I highly doubt that, but I'm not going to push it.
I promised Daddy I'd never cry in front of strangers.
And you're a good kid, aren't you, Kay? You always keep your promises, right?
That's right. Even if I can't see Daddy anymore, I'm still going to keep all my promises.
You're a very brave girl, Kay.
You're a very good child for keeping the promises you made to your papa. I'll even testify that you didn't cry just for you. Thank you very much, lady. It's nothing. I'm only telling the truth after all.
It would appear that because her father was a respected prosecutor, Franziska is sympathetic to Kay's feelings. Kay, what kind of person was your father?
Daddy was a hero of justice. His job was to catch all the bad people in the world.
So to you, a prosecutor is a hero of justice, huh? I suppose we are in a sense, as we are the ones who seek guilty verdicts for criminals.
Plus, you know what? Whenever I came to the courthouse, Daddy would buy me my absolute favorite treat, Swiss rolls.
Oh?
I want to be a hero of justice someday, just like Daddy. So I've been working really hard.
I see. And what have you been working hard on?
I've been working hard to keep all the promises Daddy and I made together.
A promise notebook? May I take a look inside, Kay?
Sure, okay.
It appears to be an exchange diary of sorts between father and daughter. Mr. Faraday's writing conveys a sense of the kind of man he was. This little notebook just might come in handy later. Thank you for showing it to me, Kay. I hope you'll continue to work hard and become a hero just like your father.
I'm gonna try.
Hey, Kay, so I'm a detective that catches the bad people, right? That makes me a hero, too.
Yeah, you're really cool too, Gummy.
Yeah, aren't I, Kay?
What is with the two of them?
I hand down verdicts of justice, so that makes me a hero, too.
Yes, and thanks to your oh-so-heroic testimony, you almost painted that detective as a vile criminal and sent him off to jail.
I'm really sorry about that.
Gummy's not a bad man, okay?
That poor judge, he's being treated like a vile criminal rather than a hero of justice. It appears that you and Detective Gumshoe are good friends, Kay.
Yeah, we're friends.
In that case, would you mind telling me a little more about him? We gotta show this because it's the cutest thing. Always
Always greet people with a smile, even people you don't know. Never cry in front of strangers. Always try your hardest to learn about things you don't understand.
It's the cutest thing in the game!
So I take it that you ran into Detective Gumshoe earlier?
Yep. I was on my way to see Daddy when I saw Gummy standing there. He was standing in the hallway staring really hard at the vending machine, so I said hi.
And when was this?
Before everything got crazy.
How long were the two of you together?
We only talked for a little while. And then we went on our own ways.
That's right, pal. Kay and I only talked for a little while, and that's it.
Oh, which means we have now confirmed that Kay was in the hallway during the recess, isn't that right?
Ah, you got me.
I told you to stop picking on Gummy, mister.
Very well then. I'll just have to speak with the good detective in private later. Were you the one who bought this pack of Swiss rolls, Kay?
Well, I didn't really have a lot of money. And I somehow made $1 out of all the pennies and quarters I had. But that still wasn't enough, and I really, really wanted one.
Come to think of it, she did come and ask me to exchange a handful of change for $1. And that's when you came and asked me to change your money, correct?
Yeah, thanks a bunch for doing that, mister.
Sure. But let me ask you, even with that $1, you still didn't have enough, correct?
Well, that's why...
Hey, if you bully Kay anymore, I'm gonna have to arrest you, pal.
Need I remind you that you're the one already under arrest?
I sense that Kay is going to be less than forthcoming with this question.
Sorry about your roughly thing.
Yes, well, now that it's positively drenched in your nasal mucus. Don't worry, Kay, I have a spare. So here, you can have this one.
Daddy said, never take things from a stranger.
Ah, it's one of the promises you made in your promise notebook, correct?
Yeah, let's see right here.
Alright then, I'm not giving this to you. I'm merely allowing you to borrow it. You can take it home, wash it nice and clean, and then give it back to me the next time we meet.
Okay, Daddy never said I couldn't borrow things.
I'm gonna criticize that new animation because I think in the DS version, you can see him reaching down into his shirt and like pulling the fresh Krabbit out like it was down there ready to go, which was kind of funny. Now then, Detective Gumshoe. Uh-oh. I believe it is now crystal clear that you were with little Kay in the hallway.
Oh. I told you to stop being mean to Gummy.
Miles Edgeworth, there is still something you have yet to resolve. Oop, Twitch crashed on you. Twitch, I see you. I beg your pardon. You still haven't offered an explanation for why that man would lie to us.
Don't tell me you lied for my sake.
Hey, don't worry about it, Kay. Everything's gonna be okay.
Ah, so that's why. So, what was Detective Gumshoe's motive for lying? His reason for lying is very simple. It's obvious the detective was lying for the young girl's sake. You could take a look at this page. It's clearly written that Kay should never take things from a stranger. When Detective Gumshoe heard about that promise, he tried to cover for Kay. A foolishly foolish fool's fool of a foolish reason for a fool!
Me, you lied because of me, didn't you?
Because I'm your friend, Kay, that's why.
Adland? Alright, yeah. Twitch do ads. Wait for that ad break to go. I'm waiting for Franny to go on a foolish rant. As she does. As she often does. At long last. Detective Gumshoe, can you please tell me the whole truth now?
Yes, there's no beating you, huh, pal?
Okay, I'll spill the goods.
I've been standing guard for a while. I was getting really hungry and that snack vending machine was taunting me.
But all the cash you had on you was $5 and that wasn't enough to buy anything, right? After all, the cheapest item in that machine is a $6 pack of Swiss rolls.
Yeah, but then like an angel from heaven, Kay showed up.
I was thinking about sharing a snack with Daddy, so I wanted to buy a Swiss roll. But I only had about $1 in coins.
So we pooled my $5 and her $1 together and bought a pack of Swiss rolls.
But I was worried about breaking one of my promises. So then Gummy said,
Mr. Faraday's one scary guy when he gets mad. But don't worry, you won't get in trouble if I don't tell, right? Besides, you bought it with me, so you didn't really get it from me, you know?
he told me it'd be okay. And he gave me a whole roll to save and give to Daddy.
Who knew Scruffy could be so considerate? Indeed. Detective, I take it that you then sat down on the bench and ate the rolls together?
Yeah, we split the other roll and ate it right then. The sweet taste of that cake's chocolate. I'll never forget it as long as I live, pal.
Anyway, Kay, I believe this also belongs to you.
Oh, that's from the balloon I popped.
It's bad manners to leave garbage lying around, Kay.
I'm sorry.
Well, I guess I can't blame you for not throwing this one piece away. It was sitting high up on a windowsill where you couldn't see it. So just this once, I'll forgive you.
But that balloon... I wanted to surprise Gummy a little, so I popped it on purpose. And because of me, Gummy dropped his half of the Swiss roll.
Wow, you really got me there, pal.
So I thought maybe I should give Gummy this other roll. And then I saw you picking on Gummy, mister.
So you kicked me, is that it? You sure are a feisty one. Pot calling the kettle black.
I'm really sorry, mister.
It's alright, I'm perfectly unharmed. But about this Swiss roll, would it be alright with you if I held on to it until Detective Gumshoe is cleared of all charges and free to go?
Yeah, sure. Just make sure you give it to Gummy afterwards, okay?
Of course, I promise. Now then, I believe we have proven beyond the shadow of a doubt that Detective Gumshoe was in the hallway for the entire duration of his duty, which undeniably proves that Detective Gumshoe could not have committed the double murder.
Objection!
Actually, it proves just the opposite, Edgeworth. You've just shown that Detective Gumshoe is the only one who could have committed the crime. What do you mean? It's quite rude to eavesdrop, Miss Yu.
I'm getting lectured on manners by a girl with a penchant for whipping people. What? How dare you talk back with such insolence? You're wrong, lady. Gummy's not the bad guy.
Oh, and what have we here? What is a child doing here in a courthouse? Bailiff, please take this child away.
She gone! Miss Callisto, that girl is Mr. Faraday's.
I know, so what? You think that just because she's the victim's daughter, she gets to just run wild all around the crime scene? I think it's actually quite dangerous for her, to speak nothing of getting underfoot.
I suppose you're right, however...
Now then, Detective, you were in front of the door to lobby number 2 the entire time, correct?
Yeah, but...
You see, isn't it obvious that it could only be the detective? He's the only person who could have gone into lobby number 2 at the time of the murders.
I have no counter-argument to that.
Don't worry, I've already put in the necessary paperwork for his formal arrest.
But the investigation is far from over.
Oh, that's right. I was going to speak with you about that. Don't you think it's reckless to talk to the suspect out in the open without a guard?
I suppose it is.
Well, as someone with more experience in law than you, allow me to share something. Always keep a good eye on a criminal, or you may regret what comes of your negligence.
Miles, I can't believe you're letting this woman lecture you like this.
Down, Tigress. Now then, I'll be looking forward to the results of your investigation. So, we're back to square one.
Actually, this is our last chance. I can tell that if we fail to solve this case, Detective Gumshoe will be formally charged under all the circumstantial evidence. This investigation is not over yet. There's still one location we've yet to inspect. It's where Detective Bad and Miss Yu were at the time of the crime. Lobby number 1. All right. While we're taking a break here for the game, I'm going to take a quick get up from the stream, so BRB. Alright, I'm back. Okay. What is this incredibly overpowering sweet scent?
It smells like flowers.
Uncle Bad, is this it?
Isn't that Detective Bad and Kay over there? Looks like she managed to escape the bailiff.
No, that's not quite it.
Ah, too bad. It's so pretty.
I think you're still a bit too young to be wearing that. But since you found it, guess I can let you keep it.
Thanks. I'll treasure it always.
Those two seem to get along rather well.
Oh, here. I got something else for you.
Yay! Thank you, Uncle Bad. Earlier, I ate one of these with gummy.
Gummy? Oh, you mean gumshoe.
Gummy is... He was trying to be nice to me because I was gonna get in trouble. And then he got in trouble because he lied to protect me. Gummy. I know he didn't kill Daddy!
Don't cry. Faraday would be sad if he saw you crying.
I'm not crying!
Kay.
Oh, it's the mister from before and the lady too!
Don't you think it would be a good idea to go home for the time being? You're not involved in the investigation, so it's for the best if you do.
Actually, I'm Uncle Bad's assistant. So I'm related to the investigation.
Is that so, Detective Bad?
Yeah, I guess. People are free to investigate things outside of the actual crime scene. You also had a few things she wanted to look into. Got a problem with that?
I don't have a problem with that, but I am curious as to what Miss Yu is looking into.
Uncle Bad, I'm gonna go look somewhere else now, okay?
Alright, I'm counting on you.
Oh, that's right! Hey, mister!
Yes, what is it?
I know Gummy really isn't the bad guy. I mean it. So please, I'm the real bad guy, okay?
I won't forgive whoever did this. But in the absence of a perfect piece of testimony and evidence, there's no one else who could be the true culprit other than Detective Gumshoe. She wandered off while I was pondering. Detective Bad, what exactly was Kay searching for?
Nothing that concerns you, boy.
Oh, and I suppose it has something to do with Kay?
It does, because she's Faraday's daughter. Anyway, hurry up and get to the point. I don't have time to waste.
It sounds like you'd rather be left alone. Be that as it may, we still have questions that we need answers to. Now then, first of all, what is the overpowering smell that is permeating this room? Upon entering this room, I thought I was going to suffocate.
It's that ultra-strong perfume you wears. She spilled some of it. I was having a bad time of it myself. I didn't think twice and opened the window. That smell's still here.
Well, it's giving off quite a stench. I bet it's some cheap no-name brand.
She said it's a famous brand from overseas.
It's a knockoff. Yes, definitely a knockoff.
No disrespect, but she forced one of those bottles on me. Here, little girl, you can have it.
I was born for a much more expensive and refined perfume. However, seeing as how you just happen to have a spare, I suppose I'll take it. Miles Edgeworth, you will hold on to this bottle without fail.
Why can't she ever be honest about her once? Just fantastic. Is that all you wanted to talk about? If so, I'm going back to investigating.
You even seem to know Kay fairly well.
I met him when he was a rookie prosecutor. Known him ever since. And Kay, I've known her since the day she was born. Faraday and I, we cracked quite a few cases together.
But you two seem to have made no progress at all in the Yatagarasu case.
Did we touch a nerve?
I only have one thing to say to you. No one knew more about the Yatagarasu than me and Faraday. That's why I was called upon to testify in today's trial. To prove that Rel was not the real Yatagarasu. Which I would have done if he hadn't turned around and accused Faraday. After the accusation, I was asked to testify, but this time, to prove or disprove the accusation. But I guess I won't be doing that either. What you two should be looking for right now is proof of murderous intent towards Faraday and Rel.
I agree, which is exactly why I'm asking you about the Yatagarasu.
What?
The KG-8 incident and this second KG-8 incident. Both of these cases are tied to the smuggling ring, and in both of these cases, the witness who is to testify about the ring was murdered. However, there is one point in which they differ, and that is the presence or absence of the great thief Yatagarasu. Mr. Rel claimed to be the Yatagarasu, however, in the middle of the trial, he suddenly declared Mr. Faraday to be the real Yatagarasu. Then, during the recess, they were both killed. Don't you find that to be the least bit odd? Miles Edgeworth, stop beating around the bush and just spit it out already! I believe there must be some reason that the two men suspected of being the Yatagarasu were both killed at the same time.
A reason, huh?
Howdy hope. And so, in order to catch Mr. Faraday's and Mr. Rel's cold-blooded killer, I feel that I need to learn as much as I can about the Yatagarasu.
If it will help you solve this case, then I'll tell you. I'll tell you the reason why we never caught the Yatagarasu. There are three main reasons why the Yatagarasu will always be one step ahead. First, the Yatagarasu always knows the exact location of the target object. Second, the Yatagarasu always knows exactly how to disarm the security system. Third,
The Yatagarasu doesn't leave a single shred of evidence behind, ever. I see. So those are the Yatagarasu's special traits.
Sounds like an incredibly elusive thief.
The Yatagarasu has never been caught on tape, never tries to draw anyone's attention, and would never do something as lowbrow as commit murder. That's how I knew that Rel wasn't the real Yatagarasu right away.
And fourth, it will Yata lock you into rage quitting Yu-Gi-Oh! But you can't use that sort of logic on its own to prove that he wasn't.
Listen, little girl, I'm not done talking yet. What's different about this time was that evidence related to the smuggling ring was sent to the police, and the sender was none other than the one who infiltrated the Kodopian embassy, the Yatagarasu.
The Yatagarasu sent the evidence.
Until now, the Yatagarasu would always publicize any corrupt dealings through the mass media. But not this time. The evidence this time was something only Faraday and I, and a select few others knew about.
In that case, how can you be so sure that it was the Yatagarasu who sent it?
That's easy. A special card that only the Yatagarasu uses was attached. That's how I can be so sure.
And just what sort of card is it?
Here, take a look. Whenever the Yatagarasu wants to publicize something, a white card is sent along with the stolen information. But when we questioned Rel about what was sent along with the white card, Rel had no idea what it was.
Ah, and that's how Detective Bat knew that Mr. Rel was a phony. Thank you very much. I have a much better understanding of the Yatagarasu now. So you were in this room the entire recess?
Like I said, I made a call to the precinct to get that big lug down here. But other than that, I was waiting for the recess to end in here.
At least your story is consistent.
Yeah, I ran into her in the hallway. She said she wanted to talk to me about something, so we came in here.
Then what you're saying is that until Detective Gumshoe's arrival, you and Miss Yu were in two different locations?
Yes, I am.
Interesting. Speaking of that lawyer, she seems to have a great dislike for you. Let's see. Miss Yu is the sister of the victim in the KG8 incident. And as I recall, Detective Bad was the lead detective on the case. I wonder if the reason for her disdain isn't simply because you failed to guard Cease, but because you were the lead detective on the case.
You knew?
I also know that today's trial involving the Kodopian embassy staff member is being referred to as the second KG8 incident. Now then, Detective, I believe it's time you were honest with me, and told me the truth behind your relationship with Miss Yu and Mr. Faraday. And the KG8 incident.
If you already know that much, I guess it'd be alright to tell you. It's not exactly a happy story. Other than the people who were directly involved, you two will be the first to hear what I'm about to tell. The honest truth behind the KG8 incident.
Faraday, you and I. As you already know, we three were involved with the KG8 incident. Faraday and I, we were originally on the trail of a smuggling ring.
You mean the smuggling case involving one of the Amano Group's secretaries?
That trial was just a front.
A facade?
Yeah, but the case became tainted. All because the witness who was going to testify about the Amano Group's ties to the smuggling ring, Yu, was killed.
Then, what became of the secretary who was arrested?
His name was Colin Deveray. To be honest, the guy didn't know a thing about the smuggling ring, but he confessed to knowing about it anyway. Deveray was probably being intimidated by the big boss man. Just another scapegoat.
He can't seriously mean Mr. Ernest Amano. That can't be right. It's probably just Detective Bad's personal hypothesis. What is he trying to do, suspecting Mr. Amano of being involved with smuggling? Haha, we found out last case he was. In the future. I suppose it would have been quite difficult to secure an acquittal after he confessed. But the man who killed Yu, Manny Cochin, was a completely different person. But since he's already been acquitted once of her murder... Mr. Faraday, how could you have let him go? If I remember correctly, I heard that Mr. Faraday had an important piece of evidence stolen from him.
That wasn't Faraday's fault. It was mine. I wasn't vigilant enough. Faraday, cease. I was supposed to protect them both.
Miss Yu did mention that as well. About how Detective Bad was supposed to guard her sister.
But even I, who was supposed to protect them, I fell into their trap.
What kind of a trap?
The holes in this jacket are a testament to that trap. You mean you were fired upon?
You were shot at that many times in one gunfight?
No. Only about half of these are from that case. But the reason I continue to wear this jacket is to remind myself of the lessons I learned from the KG8 incident.
I see.
I couldn't protect Yu, and the suspect was found not guilty. We had hit a brick wall, as far as the law was concerned. And that's when she came to the courtroom, the victim's sister. That's when I first met Callisto Yu.
About when you first met Miss Yu. It was on the day of the verdict of the KG8 incident was handed down, was it not?
Yes. Faraday and I, we apologized to her from the bottom of our hearts. It was all we could do, but just saying you're sorry won't bring my sister back, she said. And then she gave me a hard slap across the face.
Well, she certainly had a lot of self-control to stop at just a slap. If it was me, not even 100 lashes would have been punishment enough.
I suppose not. You said it herself. That she never wanted to see either of us ever again.
But after that, you've seen her many times over, correct?
Yeah. Faraday and I, even after the KG8 incident had come to a close, we continued to hunt down the smuggling ring and got involved in a variety of cases. But it was no use. We cracked so many different cases. But the result was always the same. We couldn't find the real mastermind behind the ring.
Is the ring really that big? It was in the pursuit of the ring that we met you once again. It was during another trial related to the smuggling ring. Faraday was the prosecutor, and I, as the lead detective, took to the witness stand. She appeared out of the blue as the defense attorney. Her client was related to the smuggling ring, and she was defending them? Yeah. You was pursuing the ring as best she could as a lawyer. I think she defended Rel this time, for the same reason. Come to think of it, Miss Yu did say something to the same effect. No intention of covering for him, ever. So don't you dare suggest I was going to. It doesn't matter what her reason is. Helping a criminal is just despicable. You're so naive, little girl. I could have stolen this lollipop from you, that's how naive you are. How dare you insult the daughter of a Von Karma! Just like us, you felt that she had hit the limit of what the law could do. That's all. The law is merely a tool. There is no limit to it, only the skill of the craftsman. You two are still too young, but one day you'll know what I mean. But enough sidetracking. What matters is that we met you again in pursuit of the smuggling ring. That's all. Yes? His Honor would like to transfer the evidence from today's trial over to you. So if you could please head over to the courtroom, it'd be much appreciated, sir. Understood, I'll be there shortly. Detective Bad, what does the law mean to you? Finding the answer to that question is the only reason I'm still alive. I became a prosecutor to find the answer to that question myself. And to play a part in ensuring that all criminals everywhere are found guilty. Oh, it's you, Mr. Edgeworth. It appears that His Honor is still a bit dispirited. For the first time today, I experienced what it's like to stand at the witness stand. I now have a greater appreciation for just how hard it is to give testimony. Well, there's no reason for you to be all depressed about it, Your Honor. As a judge, no one expects you to think about anything other than the verdict. Franziska, there is no need to further depress His Honor. But I'm not trying to, Miles. Your Honor. Your Honor, I've come to collect the evidence that was to be transferred to me. Your Honor, the evidence... Your Honor! Ooh! You, yes. I'd like to collect the evidence now, sir. Your Honor, do you think you can stay focused long enough to at least do your job? Yes, I'm sorry.
And I would, except that the defense attorney has yet to arrive.
She's busy with the investigation, so let's keep this brief, shall we?
Very well. In that case, please confirm that all the pieces of evidence are present. Furthermore, the evidence that was used in the murders of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rell are also included, so please go ahead and use them in your investigation into their case.
Understood, Your Honor. Howdy, oddity. Unless Detective Bad get angry.
Good job! Good job!
So, this is the evidence related to today's KODOMOi embassy trial for Mr. Faraday's bag.
You mean the evidence bag that was on the table in lobby number 2, right?
Yes. Finally, we can now take a look at the evidence itself and not just data about them.
Don't point your crop at me just because you don't know something.
I see someone is still sore about not being picked by Mr. Von Karma.
It's all so real to see the knife up close.
So, we have the knife, the gun, envelope. And what's this organizer doing here?
Oh, that's right. I completely forgot to tell you.
About what, Your Honor?
They found Mr. Faraday's personal organizer inside that evidence bag of his. Detective Bad requested it be passed along to you. He said it would help the investigation.
Detective Bad said that.
What a strange stroke of luck.
Well, never look a gift horse in the mouth. We might as well flip through it too. Mr. Faraday's organizer. It appears he was in the habit of using it. I've collected the evidence I need to prove that Rell was the killer. Between the handgun Rell had on him when he was arrested and the surveillance tape, I should be able to prove that he was the one. It appears that Mr. Faraday honestly believed that Mr. Rell was the killer in the case. The sound of the handgun going off was recorded with superb clarity on the surveillance video. I also have evidence that I can use to prove that Rell is not the real Yatagarasu. No matter how he may try to play it, as long as I have the Yatagarasu's key, I can prove he's a phony. If I present it to him in court, it should clear everything up. And he apparently also had a very definitive piece of evidence. It's been a long battle. I hope that this will finally bring it to an end. Yes, I believe that Mr. Faraday was well prepared to discredit any claim Mr. Rell may have made about being the real Yatagarasu. And he had a way to prove that Mr. Rell was the guilty party in the embassy murder. This organizer is a clue straight from Mr. Faraday. I'll have to take my time and give it a thorough read later. Look, there's a picture stuck between these pages here. It appears to be a key. And a rather ornate one at that. Just look at the design on the handle. Craftsmanship is superb. Could this be the Yatagarasu's key Mr. Faraday mentioned in his organizer? The Yatagarasu's key. Detective Bad said something earlier.
Mr. Faraday must have been trying to keep this secret key safe. As the prosecutor on both the Yatagarasu and smuggling ring cases, that's to be expected. I'm gonna take a quick BRB. Alright, I'm back. It's the knife that was used to kill Mr. Faraday. Who would have thought that such a beautiful piece of art could be used for such a cruel act? It's never crossed your mind that you use your riding crop for the wrong purpose? That's odd. What is it? Mr. Faraday didn't mention anything about a knife in his organizer. That certainly is odd. The weapon that was used to kill the Kodopian embassy staff member was the gun. But if that's the case, then where did the knife that was used to murder Mr. Faraday come from? Isn't it obvious? It was brought into the courthouse by Mr. Rell. No, because it's not that easy to smuggle a weapon like that in. Every person who enters the courthouse doors is checked thoroughly for contraband. Furthermore, the suspect was handcuffed, making it impossible for him to bring a knife as large as this inside. I need to think carefully. There's nothing related to the knife written anywhere in Mr. Faraday's organizer. However, it is a fact that this knife came from Mr. Faraday's evidence bag. Conversely, there is one item listed in Mr. Faraday's organizer that no one has claimed to have seen today. Actually, I do know the answer, Francisca. One of the pieces of evidence you've been holding has been hiding a secret of its own. And it was through this piece of evidence that the knife was brought into the courthouse.
Take that!
This Yatagarasu's key Mr. Faraday mentions in his organizer. This is how the knife was brought into the courthouse. You're not making any sense, Miles Edgeworth. You just need to look a bit closer, Francisca, to see what I mean. Don't the color and ornamentation of the key's handle remind you of anything? They do remind me of the knife. Very good. Both the Yatagarasu's key in this photo and the murderous knife have this very unique design on their handles. Furthermore, even though Mr. Faraday mentions the Yatagarasu's key, the only object we found at the crime scene was the knife. You don't seriously mean to say... It appears that you've finally caught up. And yes, I do mean to say that these two pieces are in fact one and the same. That's impossible! Even if that is what you believe, we should still investigate this possibility. Now then, let us examine this knife in a little more detail. Ha ha! Can't believe it turned into a key! To think there was such a trick to this thing! So the weapon used to kill Mr. Faraday is actually the key the Yatagarasu stole. Frankly, I'm shocked. Mr. Faraday only mentioned the key aspect of this piece of evidence in his organizer. It's possible that even he had no idea the key was hiding a knife blade inside. But if that's true, then only someone who knew about the key to knife trick could have killed Mr. Faraday! Even among law enforcement, this key was top secret. We're looking for someone who knew even more about the key than even Mr. Faraday.
That's not a knife. This is a knife.
Meaning the only person it could be is the one who sent the key in the first place. The great thief Yatagarasu. And maybe Mr. Rel really was the Yatagarasu. And he was the one who killed Mr. Faraday. Isn't that one possible scenario? No, not really. Especially since Mr. Faraday was absolutely convinced that Mr. Rel was not the Yatagarasu. Besides, as Detective Bad said earlier, alright then, I guess the person who knows the trick behind this key is someone else, and that person is the real Yatagarasu. It seems that this key is truly the key to solving this case. Perfectly and in its entirety, if you please. A simpleton of a man, that's what he was. Perhaps he was, but the weapon wasn't the only incriminating evidence we had. Mr. Rel was caught in the act on film by a security camera. He was an even bigger simpleton than I thought. I can't believe he didn't notice a security camera. The Kodopian embassy's security system is supposedly very well designed. He may have simply not been aware that there was a camera in the area. Yes, the surveillance video the security camera took was played during the trial by Mr. Faraday. You can clearly identify Mr. Rel on it. Even the sound of the gunshot was crystal clear. So the footage included sound, huh? I don't think I'd ever want to see the moment of someone's death in real life. Me neither. Crime was reported. The responding police found Mr. Rel still holding it, which led to his immediate arrest. gun took the original shooter's life. How ironic. Indeed.
Indeed!
That's odd. We're short one piece of evidence. And the piece that's missing is the surveillance video that was played in court. Surveillance video? How could a piece of evidence just disappear? Where did it go? The video showing the moment in which Mr. Rell committed the murder. Where could it have gone indeed? Yes, I'm finished. However, Your Honor, I'm missing a single piece of prosecutorial evidence. Your Honor, are you derelict in your duties?
What? No, I dare not neglect my duties. What do you take me for?
No, Your Honor, the most important piece of evidence in today's trial. The surveillance video is not amongst the evidence you laid out for me.
But I brought Mr. Faraday's whole bag with me from the crime scene. Maybe the tape is still somewhere at the crime scene?
There's something wrong here. Something about this missing piece of evidence. Oh hey, look who it is. Fucking Wolfman. I've never seen that officer before.
So, did you find it?
No, not yet. And I've looked everywhere.
I see. Well then, please continue with the search.
Understood.
So you're the one running this show. Prosecutors like you shouldn't even be allowed at crime scenes. How dare you! Just who do you think you are?
Whoever he was, I've never seen a more impudent officer in my life.
Does he even know that we're standing right here behind him? I know you're standing right behind me. What do you want, kids?
Looks like you were paying attention after all.
Of course I was. I have eyes in the back of my head.
Ah, so that mirror isn't for vanity's sake. It's for him to keep an eye out on who or what is behind him at all times. The absolute man. He carries a hand mirror so he can always watch his own back.
The guy came here from the Republic of Zangfa to study. He's Agent Wang. He's trying everything he can to revive the lost honor of his family. He's traveling the world to study different philosophies of detainment from scratch.
By visiting various police departments around the world, he has a lot of dedication.
He's still just a rookie cop. I sense a strong grudge of some sort from him. The guy's more useful than Gumshoe, even if he is rude.
Well, he sure has a lot of guts to come to this country and give prosecutors a hard time. I agree, however, I can think of one young lady that statement also applies to.
Like I said before, it's got nothing to do with the two of you.
I highly doubt that it has nothing to do with me. Fine, if this is the game I must play, then I'll take this opportunity to draw out what he's been hiding and what happened in this room straight from him. He doesn't know about the trick behind that piece of evidence. Detective Bag. Did you know of the existence of the item in this photograph? Of course I did. It's my job to know everything related to the Yatagarasu case. In that case, let me ask you something. Did you know that the knife that killed Mr. Faraday and this Yatagarasu's key are one and the same?
What? That's impossible.
Looks like he didn't know after all. This piece of evidence, which we call the Yatagarasu's key, is actually a well-camouflaged knife. Mr. Faraday was planning to use this Yatagarasu's key to prove that Mr. Rel was not the real Yatagarasu. Isn't that correct?
I guess so.
However, Mr. Faraday had no idea that it was, in fact, a knife.
Yeah, I have to admit, neither one of us knew that fact.
And neither of us knew that no one in law enforcement knew either.
How did we miss something as big as this?
I noticed that since a little while ago you appear to be searching for something. I presume that this key is what you were searching for.
Yeah, that's right.
And why were you searching for it?
Because I promised Faraday. I promised that I'd protect that key with my life. But after he was killed, the key disappeared from Faraday's evidence bag. Who would have thought that the key is what took Faraday's life?
Detective Bag, so that we may find the truth, please testify for me once more.
Alright. Doesn't matter how many times I tell you about what happened. Nothing will change. I was in lobby number 1, talking with you. We were talking about some trivial things. I heard the gunshot right before the trial was about to reconvene. When we heard it, you and I immediately dashed out into the hallway together. I saw Gumshoe goofing around there, and then we all ran into lobby number 2.
know the balloon is involved in this now.
Objection!
It's the same color as the one Kay was holding.
Oh, so you knew about that girl's balloon?
Yeah, I was sitting with her up in the gallery during the recess. Just before we split up, I filled that balloon up for her.
Well, as you may have already surmised, this piece did indeed come from Kay's balloon. I wonder if you might remember hearing this balloon pop at some point.
What are you getting at?
This fragment was found in the hallway right in front of lobby number 2. Furthermore, there was the sound of this balloon popping that the judge mistook as a gunshot.
Oh, so the sound that the judge heard wasn't actually a gunshot, huh? Don't give me a so! The crackling of the truth is louder than the sound of your sweet naivete cracking. And since you kids don't seem to know, let me fill you in on something. Do you ever stop to think why the doors and walls of this place seem so rugged? It's because they were designed to keep secrets from being leaked. Doors and walls are super thick. The window panes are double layered. To top it all off, even the curtains are made of a special sound-absorbing material. Since I was shut up in lobby number 1, there was no way I could have heard that sound.
Other way around. It's not possible to hear the sound of a balloon popping if one were in lobby number 1. However, if we examine this situation in reverse, a person standing in the hallway should not be able to hear the real gunshot either. And yet, Detective Gumshoe claims to have heard it while he was standing in the hallway. Detective Bat, if that is the case, how exactly did you hear the gunshot?
What do you mean, how? I just did.
It would appear that you have yet to realize the contradiction in your own words. If the rooms are as soundproof as you say they are, then how did the sound of the gunshot enter your ears?
I see what you mean. I guess I'm more out of it from Faraday's murder than I thought.
Which means what exactly, Miles? In the end, what does it all boil down to? It boils down to this. There must be a reason. As to how Detectives Bad and Gumshoe heard a gunshot, they theoretically couldn't.
Wait, could it be?
It's simply not possible for the killer to have escaped through barred windows. And yet the fragrance of the perfume managed to escape from defendant lobby number 1. Of course, incorporeal things can move freely through these open, barred windows. like a sound. Now then, what else besides a smell can go both in and out of an open barred window? The answer is sound. So no matter how careful the killer was, if windows were open, the jig would be up. And since the windows in both defendant lobby number 1 and the hallway were open, that explains how the sound of a gunshot could be heard in both locations. The missing piece of evidence is a video that shows the moment in which Mr. Rell killed the embassy staff member. The sound of the gunshot left quite an impression on me when it was played during the trial. The video should have been returned to Mr. Faraday's evidence bag for the recess, and brought back here. If it disappeared after that time, then it's possible that the tape is still here in this room. Eureka! The evidence that the missing evidence created for me is the gunshot sound that no one should have been able to hear in the first place. It's not a waste of time to think, for I have figured out where we should look. I believe we should examine the television. The TV. It's a video player, and there seems to be a videotape inside. This tape, could it not be the missing surveillance tape? I suppose, but Detective Bad, would it be alright with you if I verified the contents of this video? Sure. Knock yourself out. Alright, then let's rewind this and see what we have. If I remember correctly, the footage of Rell killing the embassy staff member should be about the 30-minute mark from the start of the tape. This is the footage of Mr. Rell shooting the embassy staff member. I knew it. The missing piece of evidence, the surveillance video, was here all along. This sound. What's the meaning of this? It appears that Detective Bad has figured out the true source of the gunshot he heard. With this, I think we can figure out the trick behind this double murder. Thank you for the stretch and hydrate, hun. Do you mean that you figured it all out then? Yes. All I have to do now is show what the gunshot Detectives Bad and Gumshoe heard was, and through where they heard it from. Where they heard it from.
Eureka!
If the door and windows to the crime scene, namely this room that we're in, were closed, the killer could have used the gun and no one would have been the wiser. It's true, this courthouse does seem to be well designed for such a thing, as it were. However, what happened in reality was, Detective Gumshoe, Detective Bad, and Miss Yu, all three of them heard the gunshot. Well, the windows in lobby number 1, number 2, and the hallway were open. So naturally, the people in those locations could hear it. Ah, but then why would the criminal open the window in the first place? To allow the gunshot to be heard, I suppose.
correct. That's the only logical conclusion we can draw from this. But why was that necessary in the first place? I want a real answer, Miles. I demand satisfaction.
Very well. I believe that the killer wanted to manipulate our perception of a certain fact. What was it the killer wanted to manipulate? When the crime took place. The killer wanted to fabricate the time of death to their precise wishes. And they used the gunshot in the surveillance video to do so.
So that's why the tape was left running. You mean the gunshot I heard was from this video?
Yes, which means that the murders really occurred at an earlier time than we thought. It must have been during the recess, but before Detective Gumshoe was on guard duty. Someone who has no alibi for that time period and planned this crime out in advance. That person is the real killer. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, what is it? Miss Yu is asking for you. She's in the courtroom. She said that she's identified the murderer, but she wants to clarify something. Looks like Miss Yu is still investigating something. Understood. Please tell her I'll be right over. Oh, come along. I want to hear what she has to say. It would appear that the time has come to uncover the truth. Alright, I believe the last part... I wasn't sure if I was gonna finish it today. I've gone through a whole bottle of water, and doing Detective Bad's voice is getting me, but... I don't think he has that many more lines. And I believe the last part of this case is very short. So I'm just gonna take a quick pee break, and then we'll do this. Alright, let's finish this case real quick. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good ending, actually. I really like this case. Kay, what are you doing here?
Oh, hello, mister. I'm still investigating.
But the object you're looking for is already...
Kay, don't mind him. Please continue with your investigation.
Okay, you got it.
Detective Bad, haven't we already found what you were looking for?
If it means I can keep her in the dark just
a little longer. Any little task will do.
Oh, you're more sympathetic than I thought. I've been waiting for you, Edgeworth.
I've also been waiting for the moment in which we can finally lay this case to rest.
The moment in which we can finally lay this case to rest! Wasn't that when we placed Detective Gumshoe under arrest? I think we've more than solved this case already. Don't you? We'll see. It all depends on whether or not your logic holds. Oh, I see we even have a viewer in the gallery. And why even Mr. Bad is here. A viewer in the gallery? I'm hardly just a bystander.
I have a duty to see this case through to the end, no matter how it turns out.
Oh, is that right? Anyway, I thought you might like to hear what I've slaved away to find out. I've taken statements on every single person's movements during the time when our suspect was in the hallway. I also confirmed that there's no possible route of escape from lobby number 2. Therefore, the killer must without a doubt be Detective Gumshoe.
And that's all you have?
Yeah, that's all there is to my conclusion and this case.
Sorry, but I beg to differ. In a trial, there is always time for a rebuttal, and we are standing in a court of law. It'd be more than appropriate to follow the rules of the court in this case, don't you think?
How absolutely like a rookie to think such a thing. But alright, I'll play along and give you a proper testimony.
If my logic is correct, then I've already won. All I have to do now is prove it, by showing who the real killer is.
Everyone, sans the suspect, has an alibi for when the gun went off. Furthermore, the areas around the crime scene have all been thoroughly investigated, right? I've also confirmed that there's no possible escape route from lobby number 2. Which leaves us with one unshakable conclusion, that Detective Gumshoe is the killer.
But of course, there's no need to confront her logic head-on right now. I should instead focus on drawing out any trump cards she has up her sleeve.
Hold it!
Just gotta press everything. See, she's done her research well. Means I should focus on drawing out whatever trump cards she's withholding.
Hold it!
I beg to differ with the police we've seen on this case. We've seen dudes sleeping on the job, trying to stop the broken water fountain with his hands, trying to reach a $5 bill under the vending machine. Me pressing you.
Hold it!
Pressing you. I'm not about to let her get a rise out of me with such a flippant statement. I already have my trump card ready. I will yeet you out the window on the 2nd floor. You said earlier that you confirmed the alibis of every person other than the suspect. However, I don't recall either Francisco or myself speaking with you about the subject. But there were witnesses. For you, there's your mentor who gave you an alibi. I see. As for the little missy, she came to the courthouse during the recess and was stopped by a security guard at the door to the hallway. She gave him quite a whipping for that, or so I heard. I'm the daughter of Manfred von Karma, and I will not be forcibly stopped by a guard, a bailiff, or anyone else. Wait, so basically the only reason Francisca bothered to show up today was because she found out that I was to be the replacement prosecutor. By the way, Miss Yu, what about everyone's alibis before Detective Gumshoe was assigned to guard you? What about them? Have you looked into what people were doing during that span of time? What kind of idiot do you take me for? It doesn't matter when the killer went into lobby number 2, from the time we heard the gunshot, to the time Mr. Bad and I arrived on the scene as we dashed from lobby number 1. The only person who could have committed the crime was Detective Gumshoe. Yes, let's talk about when you and Detective Bad heard that gunshot, shall we? I suppose that if we go by your logic, then Detective Gumshoe is the only one. However, what if the crime had occurred at an entirely different time than when that gunshot you heard went off? What then? That gunshot was a trap meant to manipulate our perception of when the crime took place. Sadly, your explanation is very lacking, Edgeworth. The gunshot we heard in lobby number 1. Care to explain how that could have been fabricated? Oh, quite easily. Tape. Yes, it's exactly what you think it is. This is the surveillance tape of Mr. Rell, the prosecution presented in today's trial. This was found loaded in the video player in lobby number 2. It was connected to the large television that had its volume turned all the way up. You can't honestly mean that the sound we heard was the gunshot in the video. Ha, but I do, which leads me to my next point. The murders occurred much earlier than when anyone heard the gunshot. That's the only thing I can think of, too. After committing double homicide, the killer took the surveillance video out from Mr. Faraday's evidence bag, turned the television's volume all the way up, and left the video to play. If played from the beginning, it would take 30 minutes for the gunshot sound to come on. And since we now know that this method of time manipulation is possible, it opens up the possibility that the killer is someone other than Detective Gumshoe. Sounds from a television doesn't amount to much here. But of course, Mr. Prosecutor Edgeworth and Little Miss Von Karma already knew that much from the very beginning, right? Of course we knew, didn't we, Miles? Yes, of course. We know about the soundproof quality of this courthouse's rooms. That's right, and if the rooms are soundproof, then we should not have been able to hear it. And yet we heard the gunshot clear as day. And that's it, end of story. But it's not. There is actually one common point between lobby number 1 and lobby number 2. And it is that despite the fact that both rooms have air conditioners installed, a window was open in each. Now, we know that the window in lobby number 2 was opened by the killer. However, a window in lobby number 1 was also...
Objection!
It's probably just coincidence that they were both open at the time.
It was no mere coincidence, I assure you. The answer is that a certain person did something to cause the window to be opened. And the person who triggered that action, that person is the real guilty party. The real killer is...
Take that!
Miss Callisto Yu. I hereby formally indict you of the murders of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rell. What? You indict me? Are you serious, Miles? Why do you think she's the killer? I don't understand her motive just yet. But of course I'm serious. Because she is the only one who could have done it. Was you! Well, Miss Yu, do you still feel like laughing now? Of course I do, Edgeworth. My argument must not be tight enough yet. Although I never thought things would spiral into this. But I'll have you know I'm enjoying this dance. Quite a bit. I guess this means it's time for my own rebuttal now. You argued that the window was opened, however, do you have proof it was I who did that? Furthermore, do you have proof that the tape was used in committing the crime? Frankly, I'm shocked at you for going around accusing people of murder like this. Especially with logic as full of holes as yours. This is where it really starts. I mustn't let my guard down for even a second or the truth will blow away. Now is the time to put the Von Karma perfect proof to the test. Well, it was Detective Bad who opened the window. Because you spilled this. I'm sure you've seen this before, haven't you, Miss Yu?
Ha! Edgeworth! I never knew you were into wearing that kind of perfume. It's not exactly what I'd recommend for boys, you know.
This isn't mine!
That's right, it's mine. And I received it from Detective Bad, you see.
Miss Yu, you can pretend all you like, but we know at least this much is for sure. That you are the one who gave this bottle of perfume to Detective Bad.
And that you're super easy to rile up. So, what about the perfume?
While you were in lobby number 1, you made a big show of spilling some of this perfume. That's according to Detective Bad.
Oh, I know.
You also knew that if you spilled it, he would naturally move to open a window.
Come now, I've already told you that's all just a big coincidence. After we opened the window in lobby number 1, I just left it open, you know? So maybe it was just dumb luck that we heard the gunshot through the window.
The timing of when you were going to spill the perfume is something you could control. And the most important fact about this case is when people were made to hear the shot. Furthermore, it would have been pointless if you didn't have an alibi for yourself at that time. You mean... Miss Yu, you were the one who called Detective Bad into lobby number 1. When you saw him bring Detective Gumshoe into the hallway. Is that correct? All of today's premeditated events could only have been thought up by you, Miss Yu.
You accuse me of murder on the fact that I spilled a little perfume. Well, allow me to say this much. I couldn't have killed Mr. Faraday. Look, I've had a lot of fun today, really. But I grow weary of this game of cat and mouse. Let's make this the last testimony and wrap up this absurd case once and for all. Accusing someone of murder over a spilled bottle of perfume is a bit over the top. But I suppose forgery of evidence is to be expected of a disciple of Von Karma. In any case, it simply couldn't have been me who killed Mr. Faraday. After all, I don't even know where the knife that was used to kill him came from.
Yes, but no matter what sort of trick she may try to pull, she won't escape me. And if I'm lacking in information, I'll just draw it out of her. You need to smell good to gain your downfall. No, she needed Detective Bad to hate the smell of the room, so he'd open the window.
Hold it!
This way she'll inevitably escape. If she really was the one who killed Mr. Faraday, then she must have known about the existence of the knife. Hi, Woomy. Ow. How you doing? Hope you're good. I'm sorry, Miss Yu. Maybe you weren't aware. However, the knife that was used to kill Mr. Faraday was taken from his evidence bag. Miles, what do you think you're doing? I'm drawing the truth out of her, that's what I'm doing. You poggers? That's good. Huh? I don't recall a knife being presented at the trial earlier today. Well, I suppose that's because the evidence was something Mr. Faraday had yet to use. So that's what you're trying to do. Look, why don't you cut it out with the lies? I've already figured you out. There was no knife inside Mr. Faraday's evidence bag. The only evidence he'd yet to present was the key the Yatagarasu had sent. And unless a key can magically turn into a knife, you really don't have a leg to stand on. Did you really think you could trap me? Come now, be honest. I never intended to do such a thing. It was all a misunderstanding on my part. In any case... Oh ho, but you can.
Objection!
Miss Yu, I wonder if you might take a look at this photo for me. This is a picture of the key that the Yatagarasu sent to the police. However, while it may look like a key at first glance, it, in fact, has the secret ability to transform into a knife. Which means that what was inside Mr. Faraday's bag was both the Yatagarasu's key and the murderous knife. You knew that the key was inside Mr. Faraday's bag, did you not? Yes. Well, with the Yatagarasu's key alone, it's more than possible to kill Mr. Faraday. Do you understand now? Just knowing of the existence of the Yatagarasu's key. I still haven't had a good look at it. Showing it to me from that far away, you could be lying for all I know. You would even now still feign ignorance. I'm not feigning anything. But we can't have you accusing me of a crime with false evidence now, can we? I mean, Mr. Von Karma. I've heard some very interesting rumors about him. Ah, you mocking my papa! Don't you dare sully the good name of my mentor! Mr. Von Karma. Now take a good look. This piece of evidence is more than real. Wow, who knew there was such a trick to this thing? Are you satisfied now? But of course you knew from the very beginning, didn't you? You knew that the knife and the Yatagarasu's key are one and the same. Otherwise, someone like you, who isn't a member of the law enforcement, and who would never have been privy to this trick, would have never known about it to begin with. Furthermore, the something that the Yatagarasu sent to the police. How did you have knowledge as to what it was? Actually, I heard it from Mr. Faraday. Just before he dragged Mr. Rell off, he told me.
That's right, I almost forgot. He also told me about the key turning into a knife at that time. But he didn't tell me about how the key actually transforms. What you're saying is simply not possible. Because Mr. Faraday himself didn't know about the hidden knife within the key. For within these pages, he mentions nothing about a knife.
Objection!
I'm not sure he would have written everything in his organizer, you know. Wouldn't something of this importance be better left to oral communication?
Objection!
Unfortunately, that is also impossible. Because Detective Bad didn't know about the knife aspect either. What would have been highly classified information, even within the police force. And is something that even the lead detective on the case didn't know. Why would Mr. Faraday have felt the need to share such information with the opposition? Yeah, I guess he wouldn't have much of a reason to. Looks like I gave a pretty lame excuse, huh? How can you laugh at a time like this? She probably just realized the flaw in her logic and is actually in a panic over it. But that's not something we need to concern ourselves with. I suppose you're right. Miss Yu, I'd like to state that I also know how you know the real nature of this knife. Do you now? Well, why don't you put your money where your mouth is and show me? Oh, I will, and I'll wipe that smile off your face by the time we're through. Only one person would have had knowledge of it from the get-go.
Take that!
There is only one person who would have known about the dual nature of the key. And that is? And that is the person who sent the key to the police. That is to say, the Yatakarasu herself. Are you saying that this lawyer is the great thief Yatakarasu? Miss Yu, you used Mr. Rel to lure Mr. Faraday into a trap, didn't you? You, who profess to bear a grudge against criminals, why? Why do something like this? Pneumano-ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis. Ugh. I think I said that right? That's a heck of one. You're good. Thank you. It's a lung disease. It's what they call messing up your lungs by breathing in volcano dust, I think.
Pneumano-ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis.
It's quite a word, though. I think there's a shorter word for it. Thank you for the raid. Welcome, welcome in, GK. Oh, God. You gonna give me that one, huh, hun? Alright, let me get this shout out. Got it. Second raid from a Monster Hunter player today. How you doing? Alright, give me a second for frickin' Landfair.
Alright. Land 5 for Queen Village. Land 5. Land 5 for King Gilly or Fan. No, I'm not gonna be able to do it. That is some Welsh that I am not gonna be able to do. There's so much phlegm in that word. Also, howdy, GK. Sorry about that. You came in right as it was, right as Ayumi redeemed, trying to make me say that. Oh. How did Monster Hunter go? Hope you're good. Who would have thought that you, a stupid rookie prosecutor, would see through me? You're sending the biggest chill down my spine right now, Edgeworth. This feeling of thrill, it's even greater than when I sneak into someplace. You killed Faraday? Why? Answer me! Callisto you! Callisto you? That's not even my real name. Because my real identity is, yes, the great thief Yatagarasu. Let me tell you something, Edgeworth. Mr. Faraday was one difficult man to deal with. For you see, he had discovered my true identity, which is why I had to erase him from the world of law. I made Rel an offer, an acquittal for a little favor in return. All he had to do was accuse Mr. Faraday of being the Yatagarasu in court. But once we entered the recess, Rel was dragged off by Mr. Faraday, which threw my plan into a complete mess. I chased after them and eavesdropped on them through a crack in the door. That Rel caves to only two things, money and authority, just as all thugs do. I feared my plan was going to be ruined if Mr. Faraday held on to Rel any longer. Plus, if I'd let them continue on the way they were, I would have been found out. That's why I had no choice. I had to kill them both! But didn't you say that you despise criminals? But do I really? You? Have you forgotten about the KG8 incident too? Maybe. What sort of woman would... So then, was it your plan to kill Mr. Faraday with the very evidence that you sent? Well, I had a good idea of what Mr. Faraday was going to do. I anticipated that Mr. Faraday was going to prove that Rel wasn't the Yatagarasu by using this Yatagarasu's key as evidence, and that he would bring it with him. Which is why I thought to use the knife portion. With a weapon as well disguised as this, no one would be the wiser. Because who in their right mind would think something like this could be a weapon? I casually entered lobby number 2 on the pretext that I had to talk with Mr. Faraday. And in order to get in with him, I pretended to be worried about something. He then let me hold the key just like that. He never noticed that I'd changed the key into a knife inside that plastic bag. And he didn't have the chance to take note of the knife that took his life. How could you kill him? I knew him for a long time, you know. At the very least, I thought to give him a quick and painless death. But if you killed Mr. Faraday first, there was no need for you to kill Mr. Rel as well.
I believe I mentioned why when we were placing Detective Gumshoe under arrest. Something about having accidentally created an eyewitness. And how that led the killer to think about setting them up as though they'd killed each other.
Then the trick with the surveillance tape.
Yes, I hadn't actually planned to use a gun. The risk was too high I'd be caught. However, that's when I remembered the existence of that surveillance tape. Which is why I had Rel help me set up the crime scene. And after all was said and done, I rewarded him for all his hard work with a bullet.
You're a defense attorney, aren't you? How could you? How could you betray a client?
Client? If you want to talk about who is a client of who's first, it was me. I was the client in the murder of the Kodopian Embassy staff member, Dyed Man.
You ordered a hit job!
You still haven't figured it out, Mr. Bad? I had Dyed Man killed because he was about to give away info about the smuggling ring. Now, who exactly do you think would benefit from such an assassination?
It can't be. You're...
That's right. I'm a member of the smuggling ring.
What? How could this... You don't mean... You're working with Manny Coaching too, do you?
Maybe, maybe not. Guess you'll never know. The Yatagarasu claims to be noble, but you're just another cold-blooded murderer. That's right, little girl. The Yatagarasu is just another killer.
Be quiet. You... Yatagarasu! You can run from the law, but you'll never escape it. So just humbly accept the judgment of this court.
Hey, Edgeworth. Did you know? The Yatagarasu has 3 legs. Do you know why that is? No? Well, let me tell you. It means that the Yatagarasu has more than one razor-sharp way to do her work. You really are too naive, Edgeworth. You even handed the Yatagarasu's key right to me without a second thought. Everything may not have gone according to plan, but I'll still gladly take it.
You mean the key was your real target?
And even after I gave you such great advice, didn't I tell you to always keep a good eye on a criminal? Or you may regret what comes of your negligence.
You two, get down!
Ah!
I can't move.
Hey, mister, to your right!
You! Are you alright, Francisca?
I'm perfectly fine, Miles.
Her voice is shaking, but it looks like she's unharmed. Where did Kay go? It's a gunshot! Sorry, but it looks like she got away. I called the precinct. They should have a perimeter set up soon. Detective Bat, are you alright? I heard a gunshot. I'm okay. Just got another hole in my jacket. He may say he's fine, but he looks quite shaken. But more importantly, boy, I mean Mr. Edgeworth, Miss Von Karma, are you two hurt?
I'm absolutely fine.
I'm also alright, thanks to Kay. Speaking of Kay, where is she? I don't know. She just sort of disappeared. I'll go look for her. Oh, and hey, Detective Gumshoe. Yes, sir! Detective Bad, sir! I'm sorry I doubted you. Don't worry, sir, it's not your fault. Well, I lied to you guys too, after all. I heard about what happened from Kay. Lying while giving testimony is still unforgivable. But in this case, you were protecting Kay and her feelings. Looks like you just might have what it takes to be a real detective. Now don't you ever lose that detective spirit, okay? You got it, Pops!
Pops? Watched one too many detective dramas recently, have we? Way to single-handedly destroy the cheery atmosphere with one snarky comment.
I should get back to the investigation. I swear, I'll catch you if it's the last thing I do.
Be careful, Detective Bad, and take care.
Thanks. Well, I'm off. Maybe we'll run into each other again someday. Thanks a bunch, pal. You're the best. You really did find out the truth behind everything.
Yes, well, I'm glad we solved everything before you were taken to prison.
I can't believe how much trouble I caused you with my testimony, Detective Gumshoe. It was no problem, really. I mean, I lied too, so I didn't help anything. It's really not your fault, Your Honor.
Well, even if we didn't have His Honor's testimony, I think that lawyer would have found another way to get you convicted on her behalf.
Yeah. Can't believe I was about to get fired during my first week as a detective.
Well, so long as you're not fired, you should work hard, give all that you have, and perform your duties well. Oh, and one more thing. You was the good bad. Kay left a present for you with me.
She did? Oh, what is it?
Take that!
Yes, it's a present meant for you, after all.
Thanks a bunch. You have no idea how happy this makes me, pal. I'm gonna eat this right now.
Sure, go ahead. The Swiss rolls Detective Gumshoe and Kay bought together, while the one Kay saved never reached her father. It would appear that her sentiments have touched the heart of this detective. He's so happy as it's though he's having a welcome back celebration of his own. Well, I was asked by Kay to give it to him.
Whew, that was good, pal. I can't believe I got to eat 2 of these delicious things in one day. It's like I'm in Swiss roll paradise or something. I gotta thank Kay myself. Hey, wait, where is she?
He only noticed just now? Was his mind not present when we discussed her earlier? Detective Bad left to go search for her earlier. Maybe you should go join him.
Yeah, you betcha, pal. I'm gonna go help him. Oh, but first... You know what, pal? Actually, I guess I shouldn't be so rude to you anymore, huh? I'm gonna stick right by his side from now on, Mr. Edgeworth, sir.
I sense nothing but a most troublesome relationship from that ominous statement.
We should go home too, Miles. We have to hurry and report what has happened to Papa.
Agreed. Well, I'm afraid we must be going now, Detective.
Roger, sir. And don't you worry, I'll investigate the next case we're on real well.
I'll be counting on you. The scent of trouble is definitely in the air. Kay is an amazing character. I love her. Thus, like a bad dream, my first outing at court came to a disturbing end.
A few months later, I was finally able to properly stand in court as a prosecutor. But the detective in charge of the investigation was, as I dreaded, Detective Gumshoe. After that, he became my direct subordinate. I have tried, but words fail to describe the immeasurable suffering he has caused me. But I suppose that's just how things are. As for the little girl who suddenly disappeared, she's now... And here we are, back where case 3 ended.
So, do you remember now?
Yes, I remember everything. Kay, it's been a while.
Kay, you sure grew up a lot. Of course! Thank goodness! I thought you two had totally forgotten about me.
You know, I was really worried about you after all that. Where have you been all this time?
Cummy, I didn't know you cared. After my father died, I went to go live with my mother's relatives. They lived really far away, so I wasn't really able to come back here all that much.
Oh, is that what happened?
Well, I'm just glad you're all right. So, does it all make sense now?
You betcha it does.
Oh, you know what? I was going through my father's bookshelves recently and...
Hold it!
Actually, there are still a number of things that don't make sense, Kay.
Huh?
First of all, why did you come all this way to see me? And second, why are you calling yourself the Yatagarasu? The Yatagarasu is Callisto Yu, the woman who killed your father. No, you're wrong. The real Yatagarasu was my father.
Mr. Faraday was the Yatagarasu?
Like I said, I was going through my father's bookshelf recently, and I found a secret diary hidden among his books.
I have no regrets in choosing to walk the path of the Yatagarasu.
That was written in his diary, and that's how I know for sure.
But that's impossible!
What's with that look? You don't believe me?
It wasn't just the expression on my face. I clearly said it was impossible just now.
Alright then, how do you explain this?
It's a way of disarming any security system the user's choosing.
Yep, that's Little Thief. Truth be told, this is the Yatagarasu's greatest secret. And this little gizmo was used by my father.
Wow, Mr. Faraday wasn't just a great prosecutor, he was really a great thief, huh?
Yeah, my father worked really hard to steal the truth. But he was killed, and the Yatagarasu was no more. But despite that, the Yatagarasu has been spotted again recently.
Someone other than you?
Here, Mr. Edgeworth. Take a look at this article.
Yatagarasu sent the embassy a calling card.
Yeah, meaning this person's a fake. I'm almost certain that Callisto Yu lady is behind this. Because the real Yatagarasu would never send something like a gaudy card out.
But the Yatagarasu did send a white card along with anything to be publicized. That's what Detective Bad told me 7 years ago, if memory serves.
Well, as soon as I heard the news, I got all wound up and I knew I couldn't just let it go. So I searched you out, so that I could obtain the truth behind the Yatagarasu. Because if anyone can help me find it, I figured it's you, Mr. Edgeworth.
So you're saying that I have your father's and Miss Yu's identities backwards?
Yes, because the real Yatagarasu is noble to the end. And I want to revive the real, noble Yatagarasu. If I don't, my father will never be able to rest in peace.
Kay, you're so honorable.
I don't care what anyone else thinks. I'll always be here to cheer you on, pal.
Even if you are honorable, a thief is a thief. And if you are plotting to commit a crime, then I'm afraid I can't be complicit.
Mr. Edgeworth, oh, you guys are not making this easy for me. Who am I supposed to support now?
Mr. Edgeworth, what I want from you is not to steal something. What I want is the arrest of that evil woman.
That evil woman? You mean Callisto you?
I think it's too hard for me to catch her all by myself. But I thought that since you were able to expose her for who she is, then maybe... Please, Mr. Edgeworth, won't you help me?
Come to think of it, I do believe I owe you.
Huh? Owe me for what?
When Miss Yu made her escape, it was you who saved my life. Furthermore, you helped me with the investigation today. I'm not so rude as to leave favors unrepaid. Yes. That case has been weighing down my soul ever since that fateful day. Perhaps the time has come to settle things once and for all. If you don't intend to sully your hands in a crime, then I believe I can help you.
Mr. Edgeworth, thank you!
Yeah, Mr. Edgeworth, sir! In this great cave!
Yeah, it sure is, Gummy!
Even though he had completely forgotten about her until just now.
What is with their chummy relationship?
They shared sacred Swiss rolls together. That's what. The great thief Yatagarasu. After all that time, the true identity of the thief sank back into the darkness. Burn Faraday, Callisto Yu, and K Faraday. The phantasmagorically changing identity of the great thief Yatagarasu. And the Yatagarasu's real goal. It would all come to light the day after I made that promise to Kay. In case 5! Turnabout Ablaze is where we will begin next time. Well, that was excellent. I love Turnabout Reminiscence. This is one of my favorite cases in the whole series. I just like it. I really like it. And Kay is a great character, and it just really sets her up so well. Yeah, prepare for a movie. Turnabout Ablaze is one of the longest cases in the series, and there is so much text. But yeah, we'll hit that next time. Alright. Well, thank you for everyone who watched over on YouTube. I appreciate you helping my numbers over there. I'm gonna end that VOD now. And we'll find someone to raid on Twitch. Thank y'all over there. See you next time. Here you go.